Hello everyone! Today's video will take you to Fukuoka, a prefecture located in the northern part of Kyushu Island, Japan, surrounded by the sea on three sides, to explore a crime story. Fukuoka is the most populous prefecture and the most economically developed region on Kyushu Island. Located in the western part of this prefecture is Fukuoka City, with about 1.5 million residents. In the 1990s, a horrific event occurred in this city. On that morning, a sanitation worker called the police to report a horrifying discovery. The victim was a woman working in the beauty industry. The deeper the investigation went, the more clues the police found, and all those clues pointed to one person. However, the story was not that simple. Hinamatsuri, also known as the Japanese Doll Festival, is a day dedicated to girls, held annually on March 3rd. Every year on this day, parents set up tiered platforms displaying dolls dressed in kimonos inside their homes to pray for their daughters' blessings and ward off evil spirits. Some people even throw dolls into rivers, praying for their daughters' health and safety. Thursday, March 3rd, 1994, was no exception. Early that morning, sanitation workers began their usual work at a parking lot in the southern Fukuoka area. When approaching the trash bins to clean up, one of them was shocked to discover what looked like a human arm. Initially, the worker thought it was the arm of a doll that someone had used for their daughter's prayers. However, upon touching it and realizing it was not a doll's arm, he immediately broke into a cold sweat. After asking colleagues to confirm it was indeed a human arm, they hurriedly called the police. Fukuoka police quickly arrived at the scene and cordoned off the parking area. Sanakawa Shimo parking lot is located next to the Kyushu Expressway, surrounded by fields, forests, and villages, quite desolate and remote. Next to the parking lot is a trash bin area where the sanitation worker found the arm without a hand. Apart from this arm, the police searched around but found nothing else related. Clearly, this was not the initial crime scene, but merely a dumping ground for part of the body. An hour later, another sanitation worker in Kumamoto, 15 kilometers away, also called the police. This female worker reported seeing a suspicious black plastic bag in the trash bin while cleaning at the Ominakami parking lot. The outside of the bag appeared clean, but it emitted a strange odor inside. Peeking through a gap, she saw something resembling meat. Initially, she thought it was discarded pork, but upon opening the bag, she was horrified to find a human left forearm. The police immediately arrived at the scene after receiving the report, conducted a thorough inspection of the Ominakami parking area, but, like before, found no other body parts or suspicious items related to the crime. The next day, a passenger at JR Kumamoto Station complained about a foul smell emanating from a locker. After the complaint, station staff opened the locker and found a black plastic bag inside. When they opened the bag, they saw a part of human flesh. The station staff called the police, who then conducted a thorough search of JR Kumamoto Station. The black plastic bag indeed contained a part of a human body. However, due to the large number of passengers at this station, the police could not quickly identify who had placed the bag there. On the same day, at a parking lot along the highway 51 kilometers north of JR Kumamoto Station, the police discovered additional human body parts. 3 days later, forensic results showed these body parts belonged to the same victim, a woman, including an arm, chest, and part of the waist, with the rest of the body still missing. The victim's fingerprints and palm prints were destroyed, preventing the police from identifying her. Based on the cut marks, the police speculated that the perpetrator might have used multiple tools to commit the crime, suggesting the possibility of multiple individuals being involved in the woman's murder. It was estimated that the victim had been dismembered into 10 pieces. However, since the other parts were still missing, the police could not determine the cause of death. The police believe that after committing the crime, the perpetrator drove back and forth between Fukuoka and Kumamoto, discarding the victim's body along the highways in the area. Identifying the victim as soon as possible was crucial. The police checked recent missing person reports in both Fukuoka and Kumamoto and found a 30-year-old single woman named Mayumi Iwasaki, who worked in the beauty industry and had been missing for several days. The last sighting of her was at Seijo apartment complex in Fukuoka. DNA testing confirmed that the victim was indeed Mayumi Iwasaki. She worked at a beauty salon in downtown Fukuoka. The day she went missing was a Saturday, the busiest day for the salon. Early that morning, Mayumi Iwasaki left home and arrived at the beauty salon about 1 kilometer away before 9 a.m. At 10:15 a.m., she received a call from her manager. The manager requested her to come to an apartment about 2 kilometers away in the Hakata district for an urgent matter. At 11:30 a.m., Mayumi arrived there, finished the task, and left the apartment to return to the beauty salon. That was the last time anyone saw Mayumi. The beauty company's office where Mayumi Iwasaki worked was close to the beauty salon. The person who assigned Mayumi the task that day was Fumiko Eda, 38 years old. She said that Mayumi Iwasaki had recently planned to quit her job to move to another beauty salon. That day, Fumiko called her to the office to try to persuade her to stay, but Mayumi Iwasaki remained determined to leave. Seeing Mayumi's firm decision, Fumiko Eda reluctantly accepted her resignation. Mayumi hurriedly left the office after resigning, without Fumiko having the chance to wish her well, so she sent a letter wishing Mayumi success at her new salon. Fumiko Eda also mentioned that she had received an anonymous package in the last 2 days, containing a threatening letter saying, "You're next." Initially, Fumiko Eda didn't understand the meaning of the letter and thought it was a joke. However, after taking out the other items in the package and finding Mayumi's watch and diary, Fumiko realized something was wrong. She suspected the anonymous package was sent by the person who killed Mayumi, and that the sender intended to implicate her in the case. Victim Mayumi Iwasaki was 30 years old, beautiful and skilled, having won several national hairdressing competitions. She served her clients well and was loved by them, with some male clients even taking a liking to her. The police speculated that Mayumi might have been killed by a man she had a romantic relationship with. The behavior of the person who sent the threatening letter indicated an unstable mind, suggesting this might be an act of revenge. This is a shocking case, and due to its severity, the police publicly disclosed information about the case, hoping to receive additional leads. Local media quickly reported on this high-profile incident, and articles about the case continuously appeared in major newspapers. Before she went missing, the victim had been to 3 locations: the Bippido Beauty Salon in Sankyocho and the office at the Seiju apartment building, where she submitted her resignation. The police investigated these locations and identified the office at Seiju apartment as the primary crime scene. The police considered Fumiko Eda as the prime suspect because she was the last person to see Mayumi Iwasaki, and they met at the office. So who is Fumiko Eda? Fumiko Eda, 38, is the eldest daughter in her family, with a younger brother. Her father was a civil servant, and her mother was a housewife. After graduating from university at 21, she worked at a high-end department store in Fukuoka, but quit after nearly a year. Fumiko Eda was hospitalized for an illness and had to undergo medication treatment, which led to a miscarriage. Her mother believed Fumiko Eda's lifestyle was unhealthy, leading to conflicts between them, and at 22, Fumiko Eda moved out and married Kawada Goro, a tanker truck driver 7 years her senior. After marrying, Fumiko Eda became a housewife, and the couple had 2 sons. Despite their financial struggles, Fumiko Eda refused to accept financial support from her family. At 33, to pay off debts, she returned to work, starting as a sales clerk at a fashion store in Fukuoka. Later, through friends' introductions, she became an accountant at the Bippido Beauty Salon. She performed well and was promoted 2 years later. That same year, she met Akita Hiroshi, 2 years younger than her, who worked at his family's accounting firm and was a close friend of the Bippido salon owner. Due to frequent visits to the company to handle tax issues, Akita Hiroshi and Fumiko Eda often met and gradually became close. Outside of work, Akita Hiroshi often invited Fumiko Eda for walks. A year before the incident, the Bippido Beauty Salon organized a trip to Hawaii for its staff, which Akita Hiroshi also attended. After that, Fumiko Eda and Akita Hiroshi began an affair, even though both were married. They planned to rent an apartment to live together. However, not long after, Akita Hiroshi seemed to shift his attention to Mayumi Iwasaki, one of Fumiko Eda's subordinates. Fumiko Eda became very angry and started to dislike Mayumi Iwasaki, gossiping about her to other colleagues whenever possible, and even forbidding Akita Hiroshi from seeing her, but he seemed indifferent. During the investigation, the police suspected that Fumiko Eda might have killed Mayumi Iwasaki out of jealousy. On the day of the incident, Fumiko Eda was working alone at the office, making her a possible perpetrator. The police then investigated whether Fumiko Eda traveled anywhere far on that day. They found out that she had rented a car from a rental company in Fukuoka for 2 days. Fumiko then drove from Dazaifu service area onto the Kyushu highway. The police collected over 40,000 toll receipts from the highway. After filtering through them, they found Fumiko Eda's receipt and extracted her fingerprints from it. Checking some locations where body parts were found, the police concluded that the car Fumiko Eda rented had been at the scenes. In the following period, police found other body parts, such as in trash bins near the Seiju apartment, service areas, and even in ASO, Kumamoto. Most parts were wrapped in leaflets from the same printing house, distributed exclusively in Dazaifu, Fukuoka, Fumiko Eda's hometown. 3 days after the incident, with the gathered evidence, police officially arrested Fumiko Eda as the main suspect. Fumiko Eda maintained her innocence. Regarding her motive, some speculated that Fumiko Eda and Mayumi Iwasaki were both pursuing the same man, who was involved with both. To end the love triangle, the man sought to break up with Mayumi Iwasaki, but she refused, claiming to be pregnant with his child and insisting that Fumiko Eda should leave. This infuriated Fumiko Eda, leading her to kill Mayumi Iwasaki. Others suggested Fumiko Eda might have had an accomplice. The crime scene was in a bustling area, but Fumiko Eda still committed the crime at the office, a risky move. Moreover, neighbors reported hearing no suspicious sounds, making it hard to believe she acted alone. It's possible there was an accomplice, and they had clear roles in the crime. A month after the incident, unable to defend herself, Fumiko Eda confessed to the crime. She stated that on the day of the incident, she and Mayumi Iwasaki argued at the office, and in a fit of rage, she accidentally killed Mayumi. As for dismembering the body, she claimed she was too scared at the time and wanted to cover up the incident without considering the consequences. Regarding the love triangle, Fumiko Eda said she suspected her boyfriend, Akita Hiroshi, of having an affair with Mayumi. To confirm her suspicions, she secretly investigated, but the results showed that Akita Hiroshi and Mayumi were not romantically involved. This outcome frustrated Fumiko Eda, who still believed they had another relationship. She disguised herself to follow Mayumi Iwasaki and frequently called Mayumi's house to check her whereabouts, but found no evidence of a secret affair. Fumiko Eda repeatedly asked her boyfriend, Akita Hiroshi, if he was cheating. This lack of trust strained their relationship. The day before the incident, Fumiko Eda invited Akita Hiroshi for a romantic candlelit dinner. The atmosphere was pleasant until she again questioned him about his relationship with Mayumi. Akita Hiroshi remained silent, triggering Fumiko Eda's paranoia, thinking he was hiding something. Regarding Akita Hiroshi, he thought that if he continued the affair with Fumiko Eda, it would be discovered by his wife and children. So, he planned to break up with Fumiko Eda. Knowing that Fumiko Eda suspected he had an extramarital relationship with Mayumi Iwasaki, Akita Hiroshi began secretly contacting Mayumi Iwasaki, intentionally allowing information to leak to Fumiko Eda through others. When Fumiko Eda furiously accused him of infidelity, he made no effort to deny it. A week before the incident, Mayumi Iwasaki came to the office and submitted her resignation to Fumiko Eda. Seeing Mayumi Iwasaki's bright and radiant face, Fumiko Eda became even more enraged. She felt that it was Mayumi's existence that made Akita Hiroshi cold towards her. With this in mind, Fumiko Eda refused to accept Mayumi's resignation. Mayumi Iwasaki felt extremely indignant. Recently, Due to Fumiko Edo's baseless suspicions, her reputation had been severely damaged, and false rumors about her were spreading within the beauty salon. Even though she hadn't found a new job yet, Mayumi felt she couldn't stand being there any longer and insisted on resigning. But to her surprise, Fumiko Edo did not accept her resignation, making Mayumi even more furious. The two women then had a heated argument in the office, shouting at each other for 4 hours until the evening. The next morning, news of their intense argument spread. When Akita Hiroshi heard about it, he realized his plan had succeeded. So, he proposed breaking up with Fumiko Edo, stating that he wanted to return to his family. A day later, at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday, February 27th, Fumiko Edo called Mayumi Iwasaki, requesting her to come to the office to resolve the issue of her resignation. At 11:30 a.m., Mayumi Iwasaki arrived at the office. They argued again, just like 2 days prior. This time, they even came to blows. In a fit of rage, Fumiko Edo grabbed a knife and attacked Mayumi Iwasaki until she was dead. Then, Fumiko dismembered the body and erased fingerprints and other traces. It took her a total of 3 hours and 20 minutes to complete everything. At 3 p.m., Fumiko Edo left the office with a suitcase and returned to her home in Dazaifu. Since she and her husband were living separately, she was alone at home. At 5 p.m., Fumiko Edo returned to the office to clean up. She used a cloth to wipe away all traces at the scene and threw the black plastic bags into a nearby trash bin. 4 days after the incident, Fumiko Edo felt she could no longer keep the items hidden in her home. So, she drove the rented car out of Dazaifu, heading south on the Kyushu Expressway. At rest areas along the way, she disposed of the victim's body parts in various places, keeping only the head. Fumiko Edo thought long and hard before deciding to take the head home and later discard it in a nearby trash bin. Although Fumiko Edo admitted to committing all these actions, there were still rumors that a weak woman like her couldn't have done it alone and must have had at least one accomplice. Shortly after the incident, Fumiko Eda and her husband officially divorced. 4 months later, the case was brought to trial at the Fukuoka court. Fumiko Eda was charged with intentional murder and other crimes. In court, Fumiko Eda did not admit to intentional murder, insisting that she only accidentally killed the victim. On the day of the incident, she invited Mayumi Iwasaki to the office to discuss her resignation. During this process, due to work-related reasons, they had an argument, and Mayumi Iwasaki strangled her. Fumiko Edo felt her life was in danger, so she hastily grabbed a nearby knife. It was a kitchen knife she had bought 2 days earlier for cooking at home. However, due to being busy with work, she had forgotten to take it home and left it in the office. When Fumiko Edo swung the knife in self-defense, it accidentally cut Mayumi Iwasaki's neck, causing the victim to clutch her wound, fall to the ground, and quickly die. Seeing this, Fumiko Edo panicked and thought of ways to cover up the terrible thing she had done. The actions she took afterward were aimed at preventing anyone else from finding out. In court, the police argued that only Fumiko Edo and the victim, Mayumi Iwasaki, were in the office when the murder occurred. Since the victim was dead, no one else could know what really happened that day, except Fumiko Edo. Therefore, she could completely fabricate a story to lessen her guilt. Fumiko Edo's statements after her arrest clearly indicated premeditation. Moreover, if Fumiko Edo claimed it was self-defense, why would she fake sending a threatening letter to herself? This case took a year and several trials to resolve. The Fukuoka court sentenced Fumiko Edo to 16 years in prison for intentional murder. After the sentencing, the defense disagreed and appealed to the Fukuoka High Court. 2 years later, the Fukuoka High Court rejected the possibility of legitimate self-defense and upheld the original sentence. The defense then appealed to the Supreme Court, but 2 years later, the Supreme Court also rejected the appeal. Thus, the case of Fumiko Edo's murder concluded, and the perpetrator was punished by law. Fumiko Edo always maintained her innocence, claiming it was an accident due to self-defense. 30 years have passed since that horrific incident. Fumiko Edo has been released and has changed her name to start a completely new life. Whether the incident was truly an accident as she insisted, only she and heaven know. Regardless, this case exemplifies the complexities of human nature. Fumiko Edo continuously acted against morality, from her affair with Akita Hiroshi, her baseless jealousy, to her reckless concealment of the crime she committed against Mayumi Iwasaki. If Fumiko had managed her emotions from the start and thought about her children, she wouldn't have had an affair, been involved with a married man, and caused an innocent woman to die tragically. When in a relationship, especially a marriage, it is not uncommon to have a fleeting crush on someone else. However, true human strength lies in overcoming those momentary feelings to realize that family is the most important thing. Today's video concludes here. Do you think Fumiko accidentally caused Mayumi's death as she claimed? Please leave your thoughts below the video. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.